What a day! A historic thrashing in Houston, and one of the most dramatic last-gasp finishes you will ever see in Dallas. Group E and Group F both kicked off today, and both delivered in completely different ways. This is your full post-match breakdown of Match 9 and Match 10 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Germany versus Curaçao and Netherlands versus Japan. Let's get into it. Let's start in Houston. NRG Stadium, 68,021 fans. Group E, Germany, four-time World Cup champions looking for redemption after group stage exits in 2018 and 2022, against Curaçao, World Cup debutants, a nation with a total population of just 160,000 people, the smallest country to ever qualify for a FIFA World Cup. This was always going to be a David versus Goliath story. The only question was, by how much would Goliath win? Coach Julian Nagelsmann had Germany's full attacking arsenal available, Kai Havertz leading the line, Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz pulling strings behind him, Joshua Kimmich orchestrating from midfield. This German side had scored 6 goals in their final qualifying match against Slovakia. They came into this match in red-hot form. And it took just 6 minutes for Germany to open the scoring. Florian Wirtz played a sharp pass to Felix Mecca just inside the box. Mecca took it first time with his right foot, drilling it into the near post. 1-0 Germany. Exactly as expected. The German fans inside Energy Stadium settled in for what looked like a routine win. But then, the 21st minute happened, and it became one of the most emotional moments of this entire World Cup so far. Curaçao won the ball in midfield, drove forward, and the ball found its way to Lovano Comenincia in the center of the box. Through a crowd of bodies, Comenincia struck it left-footed. The ball found the net. 1-1. Curaçao, the smallest nation in World Cup history, had just scored their first ever World Cup goal against four-time champions Germany. The small but passionate Curaçao section inside Energy Stadium absolutely exploded into a frenzy of pure joy. Grown men crying, flags waving. This was a moment that an entire island nation of 160,000 people will remember forever. But Germany, to their credit, did not panic. They simply went back to work. 38th minute. A corner from Nathaniel Brown found its way to the head of Nico Schlotterbeck. 2-1 Germany. And then, first half stoppage time. Kai Havertz stepped up and converted a penalty. 3-1 at halftime. The second half was simply Germany cruising. 47th minute. Just over a minute after the restart, Joshua Kimmich threaded a pass to Jamal Musiala, who slotted it calmly into the far corner. 4-1. 68th minute. Florian Wirtz found Dennis Undav, who flicked it on to Nathaniel Brown. Brown hooked a volley into the bottom corner. 5-1. 78th minute, Kimmich with another assist, this time for Dennis Undav, 6-1. And then 88th minute, Kai Havertz with his second goal of the match, assisted by Undav, 7-1. Final whistle. Germany 7, Curaçao 1, a statement win for the four-time champions. Coach Nagelsmann said after the match that this was exactly the kind of confidence-boosting performance Germany needed heading into a tough group alongside Ivory Coast and Ecuador. For Curaçao, yes, a heavy defeat on the scoreline, but their World Cup story has already been written in gold. They came, they scored, they made history, and nobody can ever take that away from them.
Now let's head to Dallas for a match that had absolutely everything. AT&T Stadium, Group F, Netherlands versus Japan, and this one delivered from start to finish. The Netherlands, under Ronald Koeman, have been talked about as genuine title contenders. Japan, under Hajime Moriyasu, are viewed by many as one of the dark horses of this entire tournament. Two teams with real ambitions meeting on day one. The first half was tight. The Dutch had the better of possession, 60% to Japan's 40%, but Japan were dangerous on the counter, picking their moments well. Goalkeeper Zion Suzuki made 3 excellent saves to keep his side level at the break, 0-0 at halftime. And then the second half exploded into life. 50th minute, Liverpool's Ryan Gravenberch swept in a cross from the right, and rising highest at the back post, Virgil van Dijk. A thunderous header, 1-0 Netherlands. And remarkably, this was Virgil van Dijk's very first ever World Cup goal. The Dutch captain, in his 30s, finally getting on the score sheet on the biggest stage of all. But Japan responded almost immediately. 57th minute, Keito Nakamura picked up the ball and unleashed a shot that took a wicked deflection on its way past the Dutch goalkeeper. 1-1. Japan had hit back within 7 minutes. The match continued to swing back and forth. 64th minute. Another Gravenberch assist, his second of the match, found Crescencio Somerville, who finished to make it 2-1 Netherlands. At this point, the Netherlands looked set to take control of Group F. They had never, in their entire World Cup history, failed to win a match in which they had taken the lead twice. The record stood at perfect. But Japan refused to lie down. The Samurai Blue pushed forward relentlessly in the closing stages. Substitute Koki Ogawa rose highest at a corner and headed the ball goalward. The ball deflected off Daiichi Kamada on its way through and looped into the top corner. 89th minute, 2-2. A genuinely heartbreaking, dramatic last-gasp equalizer. The Dutch defender Van de Ven had earlier picked up a yellow card for a tactical foul as Japan pressed for exactly this kind of moment, and it arrived right at the death. 6 minutes of stoppage time were added, but neither side could find a winner. Final whistle. Netherlands 2, Japan 2. That perfect Dutch record, never losing a World Cup match after taking a 2-goal lead, well, it did not technically end in a loss today, but it certainly did not survive intact either. A draw after twice leading against a Japan side that simply refused to give up. Now let's bring it all together. Group E standings after matchday 1. Germany, 3 points, plus 6 goal difference, a statement opening. Ivory Coast, 3 points after their late win over Ecuador. Curaçao and Ecuador both on 0, though Curaçao's historical goal will live forever regardless of the table. Group F standings after matchday 1. Netherlands, 1 point. Japan, 1 point. Sweden and Tunisia have not played yet. Quick shoutouts before we wrap. Kai Havertz, 2 goals for Germany, continuing to show why Arsenal fans and German fans alike rate him so highly on the biggest stages. Livano Kamenencia, Curaçao's history maker, the man who scored his nation's first ever World Cup goal, a name that will be remembered in Curaçao forever. Virgil van Dijk, finally, after all these years, his first World Cup goal, a captain leading from the front, even if the result did not go fully his way. And Ryan Gravenberch, 2 assists, box-to-box brilliance throughout, one of the standout performers of the entire day across both groups. What a day this has been. Germany announcing themselves as genuine contenders with a 7-goal masterclass, Curaçao writing history with their first ever World Cup goal, and Netherlands versus Japan delivering one of the most dramatic 2-2 draws you will ever see, with a stoppage time sucker punch nobody saw coming. 98 matches still to go in this World Cup, and the drama shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. Smash that like button, subscribe to Ballfoot, and tell us in the comments, were you surprised by Germany's scoreline? And can Japan really compete with the Netherlands for top spot in Group F after a result like that? This is Ballfoot, and this World Cup just keeps getting bigger.